Sorry, all I can hear is Matty jumping on his crisps. I just can't make head nor tail of it.
I found a gem, but I'll tell you at the end.
Good evening and welcome to the Cheltenham Exchange Day 3 preview. We hope you enjoyed the first two and we look forward to receiving your comments, likes, all that kind of caboodle. So we'll kick straight off. Resident guest Alex Galpin is still with us, aka Gordon Elliott.
Sorry, all I can hear is Matty jumping on his crisps.
Oh.
Put down, Homer.
Thank God his
crisps
were not when he went for a little light relief before.
Half-time snack.
Okay, so we move on to day 3. And day 3 kicks off with the Turners Novices Chase. Last year won by Chantry House, was it?
Legend.
Not very well prepared here, sorry. Okay, yeah, so the Turners Novices Chase last year won by Chantry House. And on that note, we will go to Ian to kick us off.
Thanks. Right, so I think we're right. I've resigned to the fact that I think Galpin's going to come here. But I still think Big Bob's going to win. I think that Galpin is a mistake sending Galpin here, needs further. And I believe that Bob will do Galpin for a turn of foot. If he runs anything like he did in the Ballymore, and hopefully jumps a bit better than he has done. I know he's won 1 or 2 races, but he has got better. But I just think that this is the perfect 2 mile 5 for Bob. I'm still not on. I still can't work out why he's dropping Galpin back in trip. No, it's not 2 mile 5. It's 2 mile 3. Beg your pardon. And it looks like everyone's leaving this race. We discussed on press maybe going up to the Brown Advisory. So you could literally have 6 or 7. Go on, mate.
I may interject. I have information. It's 2 mile 3. 2 miles 3 furlongs, 168 yards.
So 2 mile 4 furlongs.
Well,
2 miles 3.5.
2 mile 4. You got the hill.
2 mile 4.
There's all that kind of.
So again, why must be a reason why Willie's dropping Galpin down. Okay, granted, it's maybe 2-3 furlongs more, but I can't see it myself. But yeah, Bob for me to win. If he's fit, and I know he's the most fragile horse in Ireland, I like Jungle Boogie. I think he's ran 3 times in 3 years, but he's won every time. He could be the each-way shout at this distance. Otherwise, I'm really struggling to find anything that can take on the top 2. It's going to be Bob versus Willie Mullins battalion, I think. But yeah, Big Bob for me. OJ?
Bob for you. Matty?
Yeah, it's a no proper bet race for me. I mean, I've got Bob in a couple of requested bets from earlier on in the season. So if like Sir Gerhard and Honeysuckle do the business, then obviously I'll be a big Bob fan come the day. I don't quite get the whole angle of Galpin needs to step up in trip. He won the Martin Pipe over 2 mile 4 last year. I know he went and won 3 miles over hurdles at Punchestown. He's run over 2 mile 5 over his 2 chase starts. You can see they're trying to say. I think when we're rightly, Gavin Lynch said on the finishing line preview the other night, he said he asked Ruby about the best trip for him. He said the way he runs and jumps, the Turners would suit more than the old RSA. They're worried with how exuberant he is at times of whether he'd actually stay the distance. But for me, it's a no bet. Just relax, enjoy the race. As a racing fan, I want them both to turn up. I want them both to be fit. I want them both to be there at the last fence. And whoever wins, wins.
Great stuff. John?
See, I'm the opposite to Matty. I don't understand why Galpin's going to be stepping down in trip. He'd be down 1.5 furlongs from his last win, and he wasn't stopping at the end. Let's face it. I think it took Paul 2 or 3 furlongs to pull him up. So I don't buy into this distance for Galpin at all. And I know all the experts have their say, but that's just the way I feel about it. Really, I just think he would win the Browns like on the bridle probably. I think that's where he should go. But like Ian said, we're staying with Bob. It's been Team Bob all along. If you look through what's going to turn up here, I mean, there might only be 4 or 5. You're looking at Bob, Galpin, Jungle Boogie. There's probably more chance of Ian going in this race than Jungle Boogie. You never see him. You might get Sam or someone stepping up from there. But if you look further down, there's one that probably will go here, and he might be a decent each way bet at this moment in time, which is Gabby Nacco. Now, he's another one who either jumped brilliantly or he throws in a couple of stinkers. So you are taking a bit of a chance there. But at 25-1 each way, if there's only 5 runners, first 3 places, you'd be getting fifth of the odds. You're getting 5-1 on him to place. So I think he might be the play if you're backing anything today. But yeah, it's Bob all the way for me. And I think the more this ground dries out as well, the more it'll suit Bob as well. With his turn of foot, he'll be able to just kick off and pick whoever's leading up and hopefully storm up the hill again like he did in the Ballymore last year.
Great stuff. And Alex?
I'm with Matty. I'm with Matty in the Galpin camp. I think the way he jumps his fences, he's so fast. He's electric. Bob Bollinger, he was very good last year, and he has looked very good over fences so far. I just don't think he's as good a jumper. Looks a bit slower over his fences, and he's made a few mistakes as well. I mean, particularly the mistake he made, I think it was at Gowran, his first time. I think if he does anything like that at Cheltenham, he's got no chance. Yeah, to be honest, I'd like to see Bob step up in trip. I'd love to see him go for the 3-miler, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to see Galpin in this and then Bob go up to 3 miles. But I mean, if they do take each other on, which it looks like they will, I'll definitely be in the Galpin camp. Galpin camp. Galpin de Champ camp.
Galpin de Champ.
Galpin de Champ camp.
OJ, Darren O'Keefe was on the finishing line preview the other night with the lads there, and he was saying he's ridden him, hasn't he? And he said there's no issues with his jumping whatsoever. He says he jumps as well as anything else. That mistake he made at Gowran, they say Gowran's one of the most difficult tracks in Ireland to jump. I think the fences at Cheltenham are a lot softer than there, and I think they're a bit easier to jump, to be honest. So I don't see an issue with his jumping at all. I really don't.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's anywhere near as good as Galpin.
I think they've ran Capodanno against Bob last time, and he's ran all right. And they've looked and thought Galpin could get half a length at East Fence. It'll soon mount up over the distance.
I think if they were racing over hurdles over this distance, I'd definitely back Bob, but over fences, I'll back Galpin.
But if you look back at Galpin's last race, when he was jumping at speed, he made a couple of errors himself. So,
yeah,
he's not exactly, Bob on 100% himself, is he? So, it could even itself up when they're both jumping quickly.
I just want to enjoy the race. I mean, obviously, I've said if only Stuckel and Sir Gerhard do the business, I'll be one of the biggest Bob fans with you, John. And I hope he wins for you because I know how much you stand in to win. So that comes, but as a racing fan, it'd be, both of them neck and neck jumping the last, and then whoever wins, just whoever gets up the hill, isn't it? That's what we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the betting out of it. That's what it's about.
Should be a good spectacle. All being well. Okay, so we're Ian and John are firmly in the Bob camp. Matty,
No, I'm not given one.
Not really sitting on the fence. And Alex is.
If I've got to nail my colours to one, I'd like to see Bob win. I just can see the angle why Galpin's running.
Okay, and Alex is definitely in the Galpin de Champ camp.
Yeah, Matty's ditched me. He's left me for
I
the
haven't
Bob camp.
ditched it.
I'm on my own now.
That again, I'm only in the Bob camp. I'm only in the Bob camp there because it could
Nah, you
potentially
bought
be
it,
talking
Matty.
to my wallet. I could be
He's
talking
gone to
out
the
my
other
wallet.
side now.
Yeah, because if the others win, if Sergio Harden and Izuka win,
All
then
aboard,
it is
Ian.
all about Bob for me. But
Great stuff. Right,
I
leave you
don't
boys
think.
to
I think it'll
have
be
a
a
call.
length. I think it'll be a length either way. I don't think one will trounce the other. But it'll be a length either way.
Okay, so get your bets on Bobo to win by 6 lengths or more. Sorry, Matty, I'm joking, mate.
It's all right.
Great stuff. So we will move on to bit of a nightmare. The Pertemps Handicap Hurdle, where no doubt there will be many horses who've been plotted for about 2 years for this one. I'm going to throw it out there. Who wants to kick us off here?
I'll go.
Not
Okay.
me.
Ooh. Go on,
I
Ian.
was a very confident. I'll go
It
in.
was.
Well, I found a gem, but I'll tell you at the end, and I think we'll discuss it. I literally found it today, but I originally had two. The first one, I'm not sure it's going to run, but it's Sporting John. Now, Sporting John is, you could say, the class horse of the race. It's going to be 11:11 to near off top weight, just behind Side of Burley. But Side of Burley sounds like it's going to have Rob James the Claimer on, so that'll take £7 off. So I'm not sure if Sporting John would have a claim or not, to be honest, but there is the doubt whether he could potentially go to the stayers. So this year, Sporting John has won at November, and one of the only horses actually to win his qualifier at Warwick in January. Now, I don't think if you want to quote stats, I don't think many horses that win the winner qualifier normally win the Pertemps, but if he does run here, I think I'll have a little something on him. Mars Harper's another one I looked at for Elliot, sort of marker 137, about 10.7. Again, it's got Cheltenham form, comes second there in October behind. I put Campground. I don't think that's right. I don't think I wrote that down right. But and then qualified 5th at Punchestown in November, and then I'll do inverted commas, has had 2 runs since, if you want to call them runs, probably just a little couple of pipe openers. And the gem I found today is a horse called What's Not to Know. Now it's 10.7, might just scraping if we've got a mark of 137. Now there's a claimer called Sean O'Callaghan that's been running. It could claim 7 for this horse, so it could potentially run off 10 stone. What's Not to Know was in the Supreme in 2020, the year that Shishkin won and come 8th. Qualified 3rd at Punchestown in November, behind Sassy at Classy and Dallas to Piptons, which are, again, not bad yardsticks. They did a funny prep and ran over 2 miles with Rachel Blackmore was on in January, and then had a good 4th behind Right Place, Right Time, and then another horse that I quite fancy in another race called Good Time Johnny at Leopardstown in February. So potentially, if it gets in off of 10 stone, it could be a little hidden gem. But
we all love a little hidden gem here.
yeah. But yes, it's the Pertemps is, I don't know, it's a funny one. But I think I'd have Sporting John if it runs here. But otherwise, I think I might go for What's Not to Know, I think.
It's such a tactical race, just getting into it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one to look into then. What's not
to know?
I've had a few pints now. I'm not even trying to. Okay, so Ian kicked us off there. Alex, your thoughts on that, on the Temps?
I really like Side of Burley. So he's his last 3 festivals, he's won the Pertemps, and then finished 2nd in the Stayers. He's currently top weight, but he's got Rob James on, who's going to take off £7. So he's currently rated 156. So minus the 7, he's basically running as a 149 horse. the year he won the Pertemps, he was off 152 with Barry on board. And the year before that, when he won it the first time, he was off 145 or 146, I think it was. So, I mean, his rating's around where he was when he won it before. And last year he finished second in the stayers. And I just don't really understand why he's not shorter than he is.
What price is he?
I mean, he's 7 to 1. So I mean, he's sort of third, fourth favourite at that sort of position. But I'd have thought he'd be a lot shorter than that, to be honest. I mean, Sporting John's shorter than him, and I hate Sporting John.
He's looking at, he's 8 to 1. No runner, no bet.
How old is Cider Burley? Anyone know? Top of their head?
10. He's a 10-year-old. Okay. I mean, he's not like, it's not like he's like 11 or 12 or like, he's not really old horse. And it's a 3 mile race, so I mean, I don't mind backing older horses in longer races. So yeah, I think he's got a really good chance.
Great stuff.
Okay.
John.
Yeah, I think Cider Burley's got every chance with the claimer on, to be honest. As long as he gets in the right, positions in the race, then, he's going to be there or thereabouts. I've got a couple, one either side of the Irish shape. I've got Dunboyne first. I think he's right. He'll be right at the bottom of the weights. That's the only problem. He's going to be sort of touch and go whether he gets in. I think he was given 6, so he's up to 134. Now I think horses I've got in here over the last couple of years are lower than that, just about. So he's right on the border. But I think he's a proper eye catcher when he qualified 2 runs back, and then last time he found all sorts of trouble in running. He got blocked off, he clipped the rail, and then he had no run at all. So he put a line through that run, I think. So I think he's quite well handicapped. The one this side of the sea is a horse that I follow quite a bit. He's a bit of a cliff horse for me, and that's Honest Vic. He started off the season chasing, but I thought he might be a plot for the Ultima or something, because he kept finishing 2nd and 3rd behind decent horses for a lot of the season. Then they gave him a spin on hurdles last time out when he finished behind Risk and Roll, and that was in the qualifier. He finished 5th. He's now on a mark. He was dropped £5 for that run, and you could see he wasn't really, trying to get up in the sort of box seat. Like he's on 141, which is ironically the exact mark he won off in a Cheltenham Pertemps qualifier back in 2020, which he won. He won by 4 lengths that day. He absolutely stormed up the hill off this mark. So I think my slight preference is probably for Honest Vic, because he'll definitely get in. But Dunboyne is probably one of the best of the Irish horses in this.
Just having a look at Dunboyne there. I mean, what are you looking at? 130?
Yeah, he's on 134 at the minute.
134. According to the Racing Post,
he only needs 6 to drop out.
According to the Racing Post, he's 30th at the moment, and looking last year, you've got horses running off 126 and even
126 was. Yeah, they reckon quite a few didn't turn up last year because of the social aspect. They reckon it's because of COVID. A few didn't turn up, but even the year before, the lowest was 133 when Cider Burley won it. So hopefully he'll squeeze in. But yeah,
he only needs 6 to go out, John.
Oh, that's not too. I think should fall out by then, because you'll get some that are double entered in the Coral Cup as well, won't you? So yeah, they're the 2 for me, OJ.
Great stuff. Matty.
Yeah, there's 3 I quite like. Third Wind. He's one I'm going to probably have a punt on. He was 4th in it in 2020 when finishing 8 lengths behind Cider Burley off 141. Runs again, he goes off the same mark. Further down the market, my shortlist is Core Serene, around 40 to 1. For, let me double check, John Joe, is it? Yeah, John Joe O'Neill. It's had a bit of a strange campaign. Started off over hurdles, finishing 4th behind Campron in October. Then he's had 3 chase starts. In the middle of those, finished 8 lengths behind Corac Rambler at Cheltenham. And then latest start, went and finished second in the Pertemps qualifier at Exeter, behind Empressive Lady. Runs off 135. Yeah, he'll be one at a big price. I'd be quite happy to take an each way putting on if he runs. And the other one, Tullybeg. He was sent over in October to qualify, finished 5th under a very very nice ride by Jordan Gainford. He hasn't been since that day. So off a mark of 140, you'd imagine they were quite happy with keeping his mark, and he has stayed the same off 140. And I think I'll be having a win bet on him.
Okay. Great stuff. So quick recap, because it is absolutely wide open, obviously. So Ian, you probably edging towards Sporting John?
Yeah, but if he runs, yeah.
If you run Sporting John for Ian. Syed Burley for Alex, who thinks is currently quite big in the market. John, Honest Vic and Dunboyne, if Dunboyne were to sneak in at the bottom end. And Matty, I think you said Serene.
Cursorem was an each way, third wind was an each way. I'll go with Tullybeg. I'll go with Tullybeg
for the win.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. We move on to the Ryanair Chase and after last year, who else can we start with but Matty Luke? What a moment that was for you last year, Matty. We were all live on WhatsApp watching you sat on that sofa.
Shitting your pants.
brown pants.
Yeah.
Go on, talk us through it. Talk us through it, mate. Relive the moment. Talk us through it.
He drifted on the exchanges just the day before, didn't he, I think, and then he come back in again. That was the only worry. I'm sure Ian will get the video posted on the YouTube channel at some point for everyone to have a laugh at, because it was
a great idea.
Watching it back is quite funny. I've still got it.
I can send it to you, and I've got it.
Oh, good man.
This year, there's not much to say, but he's just rock solid, isn't he? He stays on his feet. He beats them all comfortably. Not even worth looking in the without market for me. You just move on. Next race.
So what's the horse back?
Allaho.
I'm joking, mate. So obviously, Allaho flying in there for Matty. John, similar?
Same. Yeah, exactly. Allaho won't be beaten if he stays up. As for the others, you just don't know who's going to turn up on the day. You get some horses dropping down on the Gold Cup, chancing their arm. You get some stepping up from the Champion Chase who will chance their arm. So I might stick a pin in each way for something on the day, but Allaho all the way.
Great stuff. Ian?
Allaho for me. The other market I would potentially look at is Janadil, either without, or I believe Sky are doing, I think it's about 2-1 to place in the first 3, which again I don't think is too bad. Just a quick flick through the form of Janadil. So he was 3rd in the Irish Gold Cup, 5th in the Savills Chase, and then 2nd in the John Durkin, which I think is really good form. A lot of these that are in the top of the market won't run. I think Energumene's still in it, Chacon's still in it. Shamblu, not run for months, not for me. I think one of the Nichols horses has bled since St. Calvados, I think. So again, not for me.
Calvados was awful the other week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's run well in the past, but yeah, I echo what the lads have said. Allaho should be the banker of the week, I think, and Janadil to follow him behind.
Great stuff. Alex, you might have a sneaky little bet for us.
Yeah, I thought I'd stay away from Allaho to win because that's pretty obvious. I think I think he's pretty much nailed on. But looking at the market, there's so many horses in there, like Johnny said, that aren't going to go for the race. So second favourite Energumene isn't going to go for it. A Plus Tard, third favourite's not going to go for it. Chacun Pour Soi's not going to go for it. Conflate is not going to go for it. So I think there is some value to be had in that betting with that market. And I think I'd probably side with Fakir Dudery. He's finished behind Allaho twice already this season. And then he won, I think it was Ascot.
That was the
towards the end
St.
of February.
Calvados race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe when I looked at him, I can't believe he's still only 7.
There's talk of him this
Right,
year, though,
yeah.
isn't there, going to the H3 after his
Is
race
there?
at Ascot last time.
Well, that would be my. That I mean, you get non-runner bet on betting with that on the betting without market, so that would probably be my selection. It seems like a long time ago when he ran in that Supreme, but he ran in it as a 4-year-old, didn't he?
Yeah, supplemented, I believe.
Yeah, against that was a classical dream one, and yeah,
Wasn't that the
seems
year
like
that,
a long time ago.
That Irish buddy Conor Ryan chucked it at us nice and early, didn't he? That year?
Yeah.
Would I
Yeah,
be
think
right in
you did,
thinking
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think you are.
Crazy when you think
Has
about it.
anyone got,
He's the same age as Sir Gerhard, and Sir Gerhard's just had 1 year over as a bumper horse essentially. And now he's in his novice campaign, and
Yeah.
Fakir Dudery had a novice campaign over hurdles, a second campaign over hurdles, and then a novice campaign over fences. Now he's in his second campaign over fences. I just thought it was quite strange when you think about it.
Is there any talk on Asterion for Lons? Is he going to the Gold Cup?
He'll probably fall wherever he goes.
No, he's
No, he
never
never-
fell
he
left
never
handed,
don't
has
fall
he?
with Cheltenham. Don't.
He
I've
never
just looked
falls
now on
left-handed.
Betfair. He's 40-1 without Allaho on the exchanges, and he was travelling all over Allaho in the John Durkin before he fell.
What's his recent runs been over? 3 mile or 2.5? Does anyone know?
He ran over 3 mile, didn't he, in the King George, and then 3 mile again at Leopardstown. But seem to remember when he ran in the Supreme, he jumped out to the right a long way, didn't he? I think that's why he tends to go right-handed mostly.
Knocked something over, didn't he? I can't remember who it was. But on the JP ones. But yeah, you're right.
I've had a beer now, so I'm going to be all tempted to have a bet on him at 40-1 without Allaho on the exchanges.
Why not?
Why not? Okay, so I guess there's not really much point in wasting too much more time. Allaho's going to absolutely walk this with Alex chucking in Fakir Dudery. Yeah, see how I did that well, didn't I? I could really mess that one up.
Fakir.
Okay.
In the without market. That's what he's in for.
Without Allaho, obviously. Okay, so we move on to the Stayers Hurdle, won last year by Florin Porter. If I remember right, is that a bit of a nutter horse? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have noticed has had a very similar campaign this year. So, who are we going to here first? Who's not been first yet? Matty.
I haven't got a bet.
Okay, no, we're not going to you.
Got
We'll
crisp
go
in
to
his
you, lads, then. Just...
Move on.
Has anyone
Come
got
to
a
me
strong
last.
one in here?
I'll go if you like.
Ian, because
So I'm staying with Champ in the Champ camp.
talking to nutters.
So
Come back to me.
yeah. So just going back what we said before, it's they keep beating each other. So Florin Porter's not had the best prep. It's pulled up and fell, and then they had that funny race with Classical Dream with the flag, and Classical Dream having about 7 or 8 lengths in front, and there's no way he was going to catch him. Pacey Park then won a freak of a race at Cheltenham. I still think that the best form, and I have to get my phone, it was at Ascot when Champ beat Paisley Park and beat Time Hill. I think that was back in December at Ascot. But yeah, so I don't know. It's too complicated, this race. The one that may have an outside chance, but it would actually literally have to start raining now and then stop around the Thursday next week, would be Royal Kahala. She's had a cracking few wins this season, but again, I think she'll probably go to the mares. But if it become absolutely bottomless, even soft, I think soft to heavy, she'll go here and she'll have a cracking chance. But I want to stay with Champ.
She's dodged coming across a couple of times, hasn't she?
Yeah. She did run there well last year. I feel better it was on better ground, but she definitely needs soft ground. But it's whether she'll get it. I don't know. It looks like from what Alex has been sending us, it looks like it's going to be good to soft. Maybe soft in places, but even then it might just stay good to soft. But yeah.
Okay, so Champ, which was
Champ for me,
Gold Cup contender last year. If I'm
yeah,
not
don't
wrong.
talk about that.
John, go on.
I think they should rename this the Nutters Hurdle with these horses. If you look at all of them at the top of the market, you've got Classical Dream, Flooring Porter, Champ, and then you go down, you've got Thomas Darby with his hanging, and there's just it's full of crazy horses in this. But the one I think that's the least complicated is Time Hill. So I think he's the one, if you're going to put an each way bet on, a strong each way bet, he's the one to go. You can ignore his run in France on heavy ground over those funny hurdles over there. His run behind Champ, you can take a bit more seriously. That was a good run. He wasn't far behind him. I think a strong pace in this, which will be set by either Classical Dream or Flooring Porter, will suit him. He'll come up the hill. I think this was his target last year till he got injured, and then he hacked up afterwards at Aintree. I just think that he's been set for this race all season. He's lightly raced, and I think he's the one to be on. One I put up last week on Dave's podcast each way at a big price was Song for Someone. I think he's about 50s now. He's very unexposed at this trip. I don't even think he's been over it before.
That's Simon's horse. Simon's.
Yeah.
Yes. He's I think he could just run a decent race there. He's unexposed, like I say. So you just don't know what you're going to get from him. That's one thing. But, at that price, you're not taking much of a chance, are you, really? But Time Hill's a rock solid one for me in this.
Sorry for cutting across, but that was one that last year, he had some good races last year, I'm pretty sure, Song for Someone.
Yeah, over Shorty, yeah. But they've stepped him up this year. He does look like he needs to step up. So it's worth giving him a shot, isn't it, at that price,
Great stuff. Mr. Elliott.
Oh, I hate this race. This year. I just can't make head nor tail of it. I think if Cyril Burley was in this race, that's who I'd back.
Because he'd be your only runner?
Possibly. Yeah, I just don't like it. I think if you're going to force me to have a bet, I'd probably side with what Ian said and look at Royal Kahala. Maybe in the place market. She's very consistent, isn't she? She had a bad run at Cheltenham last year, which is the only bad run I think she's had, and she finished lame, so she had excuses. I just can't make head nor tail of it. The English horses are all beating each other. Then the Irish horses, I couldn't trust either of them either. So I'm scratching my head looking at this race. So yeah, I'll go with Royal Kahala.
Royal Kahala for Alex. Matty, we'll come back to you after you said you couldn't be asked.
Yeah,
Finish his crisps.
I quite like Flooring Porter. Going back to that run behind Classical Dream, where Classical Dream nipped away at the start and he ran well. I agree with John on Time Hill's run against Champ last time out. I think if that was his first run into France, I think I know it would be clear favourite for the race. But it's a no-bet race for me. I might have a token bet on the day on Paisley Park just because I'm just loving to see him storm at the hill. If I don't have any money on him, I'll still cheer him home if he's there at the last in contention. But I'm the same as Alex. I'll just probably leave this race and hope Paisley Park wins.
Going again is 10.
Might have a Paisley Park Tiger Roll double.
Ooh.
For what it's worth, which is very little, I've got to side with Ian here because
good man. Champ.
John, as you know, I was massive album photo for years in the Gold Cup. And last year, I really did think Champ would turn up in that Gold Cup. After the RSA, a couple of years ago, I said straight away to my dad after the race, I said, Champ's going to win a Gold Cup.
You know, two lads who were hoping Champ won that Gold Cup. Charlie and
Oh,
Nathan.
blimey, yeah. Oh.
We're not allowed to mention that next week.
Sorry,
Yeah.
lad.
I'll mention it.
But no, so yeah, got to give him, like you say, John, it's a race full of nutters. Got to give him a chance. So I'm siding with you there, Ian, I'm afraid, mate.
I think Champ would have been better coming here completely fresh after no run and just first time out here. When he seems to run better than he.
I think that RSA a couple of years ago was a fantastic race. Absolutely
Unbelievable.
Anyway, we move on to people who are far more knowledgeable, and we move on to the Paddy Power Plate Handicap Chase. And we're going to look for something to chop it off for Matty Luke. Come on, Matty, chop it off for us.
I put it up on Dave's podcast that we did with him last week. I'm still keen on him. He has got an entry on Sunday in the Grade 3, I think, in Ireland. And that's Bustleton. And then Gavin Lynch put him up in the ante afterwards and is now 12-1. I think he's been very, very strangely campaigned this season for this race. He goes off a mark of 137, but he's actually running here off 145 he's been put up to. I'm sure someone said, it might have been Gavin Lynch actually, he gets some age thing, he actually runs off 143.
Yeah,
because he's 5.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's quite interesting, yeah. He said that on the finishing line preview the other night that he was with them all in Ireland.
What would he get? Cut a pound?
Yeah, so he'll run off 143. I mean, he ran at Cheltenham in the Boodles last year. And I think the vet reported afterwards that he'd lost his shoe, front foreshoe. Just double check to be correct. Yeah, the trainer reported that after the gelding made a mistake at the 4th last hurdle, was never travelling thereafter. That added that the post-race examination revealed the gelding had lost its left horseshoe. Quite happy to forgive him that course run. This season he's been campaigning. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 chase starts. Second, first time out, over fences, over 2 mile 2. Then he's run over 2 mile 7 in his second. Then he's run over 2 mile 6 and beat the boss's Oscar 13 lengths. Then he's finished third behind Gin Online over 2 mile 4. Then he's gone and beat Coach Carter in a match race by 42 lengths. Then he's gone and beat Indiana Jones by 3/4 of a length over 2 mile 3. Then he's finished second to Sildenege by 4 lengths over 2 mile 4. Then he's run over 2 mile against Blue Lord at the Dublin Racing Festival. He is entered in the Browns Advisory and the Turners, but I think they'll come here. But I will be watching to see if he actually gets declared on Sunday or not. Because they might think there's a little soft race to pick up over there just before Cheltenham, before actually coming over here instead of coming over here. Sorry. The other one that I like, before you all move on, is Our Power. Where's it gone? He fits the trends. He ran a nice race the other weekend when he stepped up to 3 mile for the first time and he finished third. His mark won't be changed that much. He's running off around about 136. I think, let's just double check his price. He's 16 is then, he's not 16. Odds checker. He's 25-1 on odds checkers, so I'll probably have an each way play on him as well. That's
Great
it.
stuff. Great stuff. Alex?
I like a horse called Stolen Silver in this. About 20-1. ran a really good race in November at the course when he was second to Editeur de Gite, finished a neck behind him, and he was giving away £5 as well. Editeur de Gite then won in December, and he's now rated 153. So he's given a horse rated 153 £5 and only finished a neck behind. He didn't run great after that, though. But I can forgive him both of those runs. The first was in a Grade 1 that was won by Edward Stone, who, as I said, is my bet of the day for Tuesday. So he was fourth in that race. And then his other race was at Wincanton in January, and it was on really soft ground, and I think he just hated it. He's off a mark of 144. I think that's pretty fair, especially considering, as I said, that the form with Editeur de Gite, who he gave £5 to, was only a neck behind him. He's now 153. So I think you can never overvalue form at the course for the festival. So yeah, that'll be my selection.
Great stuff. Johnny. Go on.
Yeah, this is a handicap I've done probably the least amount of work on. It always is for some reason. I don't know why. I seem to leave this till the last minute. So I've just got a couple down here really. One is Fusel Raffles. If he comes here, obviously he's got the entry in the Ultima, as Ian mentioned earlier. He's down on 149 now. He's previously won off 152 in the past. So I think he would have a chance. He could be the class horse in the race if he turns up here. The other two I've sort of looked at but not really had a go on yet are the Glancing Queen and also Vienna Court, the two mares. Again, Glancing Queen's got other entries in the Mare's Chase. She's got good form behind Long Press, so if he runs well in whichever race he turns up at, then I'd probably have a go on her. Again, she's got some course form as well because she finished second behind him here last time. Vienna Court looks to have a good profile for this, and that's the sort of one I'd be looking at on the day. Again, improving type, course and distance winner. So if she comes here, then I think she's got an entry in the Mare's Chase as well. So just gonna have to play them on the day. But if I'm gonna stick my neck out, it'd be Fusel Raffles.
Fusel Raffles for John. And Ian.
Right. So
Ooh, this sounds promising.
Similar to what we discussed before, I like Imperial Alcazar. I sadly think it might run here, but I would want it to run in the Ultima. So for this race, for the plate, it's got a mark of 152 and carrying 11.9. Obviously, it's carrying 11 dead, I believe, for the Ultima. Similar sort of thing. I echo what Johnny said as well. I like Fusel Raffles to have a shout here, but again has a higher mark in this race than it does for the Ultima. And again, I think John's read my notes. I too like Vienna Court. So the mark of 141, 10, 12, 2 wins at Cheltenham. I've also seen that 3 horses have come out since and won. One of I can never pronounce the bloody name. Funambul Sivola, Fontaine Collonge, and Timeless Beauty have all come out and won since they got beat by Vienna Court at Cheltenham. So I would probably have a little have a go on each. If they all run in this, I'll probably have a little on all 3. But I'll probably stick with Vienna Court, similar to John.
Great stuff. Okay, so Vienna Court, John and Ian.
So Fusel Raffles.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
yeah, that
nice.
I was just thinking. Yeah, getting lost here now. Yeah, Fusel Raffles, John. Vienna Court, Ian. What we're looking at? Stolen Silver, Alex.
Yeah.
And Matty.
Bustleton, probably one of my.
Yes.
Yeah, really like him if he runs here.
Okay, great stuff. And we'll finish off day 3. No, we won't. Yeah, we will.
Nowhere near, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. We won't. We move on to the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, won't we?
Yes.
We will.
Oh, Matty might be finished off by this time on Thursday, but the rest of us will still be going.
Move on to the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Won last year by a little favourite of Ian's, I think. Tell me something, girl.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I think it's high time we heard from John to kick us off with this race.
Short and sweet for me, actually, OJ. Nothing's changed since the initial preview. I'll side with Dino Blue, who was impressive on the one win to date. She just looked an uncomplicated type. Picked up well on that ground. JP horse, Mullins, what's not to like?
Funny you should ask. Funny you should ask. What's not to like?
One run.
I've got some stats. One run.
One run.
One run and not ran within 50 days. But
So,
yeah, there's only
should
been
be nice
6
and
wins.
fresh then.
There's only
It's
been
done
6
out
wins anyway,
purpose,
so it
though.
doesn't really mean anything.
I think going by, I watched the Paddy Power preview, and I think Tony Mullins was saying, I think Willie's done that on purpose. She had her win, and then he's kept her away. But yeah, that could be a
Kept her away.
yeah.
No, I have no idea. It's just
No, it's a trend. It's a trend.
well, I thought, I knew a couple of you were pretty keen on her, and I thought, well, I gotta chuck something in there.
Yeah.
Chuck a grenade in, OJ.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dino Blue for John.
Dino Blue.
Ian.
Same for me, Dino Blue. Echo what John said, impressive 15 length win at Clonmel. Shame that Allegory Devassis had come out due to injury. I wrote a little note here about Brandy loving her jumping. Wildly left when she was second to Allegory Devassis. Looked the winner at one point, but her jumping was wild. One I've put down as an each way potentially is the British Hope for Harry Fry, which is Love Envoy. Potential each way shout. She's won at 2 mile and 2 mile 4, and beat Nurse Susan, I believe, could be a contender. So I'm stick with Dino Blue, but maybe a Love Envoy on the day if she's a good each way price.
Great stuff. And Alex.
I like one that's quite a big price actually. Nina the Terrier. I've been following it all season. Her last 2 runs weren't great, admittedly, but Alan King's come out and said that she hated the ground, so she's really ground dependent. So she needs either good or good to soft ground. Earlier in
Ian
the year,
loves Queenie.
Sorry?
Ian loves old Queenie,
Old
don't
Queenie.
Earlier in the year, she beat LA Bell, who's 8-1 in this race, and she beat her by pretty comfortably, and she was giving away £8. If they do race again in this race, which I'm not sure if LA Bell's going to go to this or skip it for Aintree, she'd be £10 better off. So rather than her giving LA Bell £8, LA Bell would be giving her 2. So just on that form, I think she'd probably be a shorter price than she is. And she's had a lot of races. She started running in the summer, ran a couple of times at Newbury in the autumn, and then she's had those 2 runs that I said where she didn't like the ground. If the ground comes up pretty dry, I think she could definitely hit the frame. I don't know if she'd be good enough to win, but I mean, at 25-1, I think it's really good value.
But within our WhatsApp group, wasn't she one that was sort of flagged up to us early on in the season?
Yeah, I was there in Newbury when she won really impressively. I was really taken with her that day, like really, really impressed. Just how she quickened, and obviously beat what's a good horse in LA Bell.
Okay.
Giving away £8.
Great
I
stuff.
thought was pretty impressive. So yeah, I've been hot on it since then, and I can forgive her last 2 runs because of the ground.
Great stuff. Matty, who loves the mares. Come on, Matty. Shaking his head.
I would have been siding with Allegora Devassi if the injury hadn't come. Going back to the preview we did with Dave last week, I was keen on Party Central for the county hurdle. It's come out now that she's going for this. So on the day, if the week's going well, I might have a play on her. It's not set in stone. I'll do that. Just looking further down, one that does catch my eye, Mighty Blue. Ran in this race last year, finished third, beaten 7 lengths behind Tell Me Something Girl and Magic Days. I believe she's eligible to obviously still running this again. She ran in May and won. Yeah, so she's still eligible. At 20 to 1, she might be worth an each way play with finishing third in the last year. Didn't Constantine do that? Didn't win in the Mayor's Novice and then come back the year later and won.
Yeah, I think so.
So at 20 to 1, she might be worth an each way play. Other than that, mate, I've got no interest in the race whatsoever.
Still in the Guinness tent.
Okay, great stuff, chaps. We will move on to the last race of day 3 and another handicap. Muir Handicap Chase over 3 miles 2. Alex, as our resident guest, I think you're going to have to kick us off here.
I've got a bit of a. Well, it was a bit of an outsider, but he's come in over the last week or so. I quite like David Pipe's horse, Jericho Rogue. I don't know how it's pronounced. I think that's it. He's only a 6-year-old, so I think he'll definitely still be improving, and he's got some form with some really good horses. So last time out, finished second to Eclair Surf, who went on and finished second in the Ida, which I thought was a really good run. Also, he's beaten Korak Rambler, who I think will win the Ultima. 2 horses he beat at Newbury, Nesta Park and Run to Milan. Beat them both pretty comfortably. Both of those have won since, and they're both rated in the 140s. Whereas Jericho Rogue is rated 133. Just checking it now. I think he's definitely got quite a few pounds in hand. I think if he was trained by someone else, he might be talked about a bit more. But I think David Pipe's a bit more unfashionable nowadays than he could have been a few years ago. But yeah, but I mean that's my selection. There's a lot of horses here that haven't really done anything, and he's got form in around some good horses that I really rate. So I think I'll take my chances with him, particularly because he's only off 133.
Mad to hear that, isn't it? The Pipe name mentioned as being fashionable when you look back.
I know, yeah.
Okay, Ian, any thoughts?
Right, I've got potentially 3. I've backed Front of the Salt. I backed him about the middle of January at 16 to 1. He's going to be top weight, but we found out since that Rob James is going to ride and claim £7 off. So marker 145, 11, 12 at the minute. The other 2 I like. One is called Ain't That a Shame? Well, marker 144 again is kind of a big weight at 11. Will stay the trip, but in his 3 runs has bumped into Galopin de Champs, Statler, and Champagne Platinum, and I believe he was beaten about a neck to Champagne Platinum at over 3 mile 2. The other one I'm not sure he'll get in is Oscar Elite, marker 134, 11-1. But it's got good lines of form. It was second in the Albert Bartlett last year. This season has been 4th behind Long Press, 5th behind Imperial Alcazar, who I like, as you know, for a couple of other handicaps. And if you go back even further to Aintree at April, it's got form behind Ahoy Signor and Brave Man's Game. So if he gets in off that mark, it could be another one I'll go each way. But I'll probably go with Front of the Salt and to win, and the other 2 each way.
Okay.
I know it's a bit obvious, but
Great stuff. John,
Yeah, my original choice was Death Duty, and for some reason they didn't enter him in this, even though he was on 144, and that's what the British handicapper had already allocated him. So I don't understand what happened there, but he's going to the Ultima now instead. But I'm with Ian on Frontal Assault on this, and very, very sweet on him indeed. He, like Ian said, he's top weight, he'll be running off 145. Rob James will take off 7, which will put him on 138. Rob's also had the winner in this race with Milan Native back in 2020, so he's got, good understanding of the course and distance. Also, the horse himself has got a little bit of form in the pipe last year when he finished 8th behind Galpin Deschamps, so he's raced on this course as well. So I think he's a good bet, to be honest. He's like the only choice in this race, OJ. So yeah, very sweet on him.
Nice that, John. Interestingly enough, I mean, you were one of the pioneers. You were pioneers of the old Best of the Bets racing forum back in the early 90s.
You know, going back a few while.
Going back a long time. Well, I'm still having a little look around there at times, and it's moved on to a different platform. But I don't remember old Herb being there, and he's pretty keen on Frontal Assault. So give him a bit of a shout out there. So yeah, that may help. Matty, your thoughts, mate?
Not a strong opinion. I quite like Smoking Gun off 140. It looks like Jamie Codd's going to be riding, and he's obviously shortened in the betting because of Elliot saying that. At 8-1, I'd probably be looking at just having a win bet on him further down the market. And Alex Hale's runner, Omar Moretti. Only entry at the festival. Just check the best odds now before I start spouting. 14-1 best price. Yeah, just had a quick look then. Seems to be going off 137 if he runs. Other than that, mate, I've got no strong opinion on the race. I don't really get involved in this one, not too much.
Okay. Again, it's wide open, isn't it? But Frontal Assault would probably be.
Oh, sorry. There's one that would interest me. Is Rapid if he goes here instead of the Ultima.
Okay.
I'd prefer him to go the Ultima.
So Frontal Assault is definitely of interest for Ian and John. Rapper for Matty, and Jericho the Rock, was it, or something?
Jericho Roke, or whatever his name. Jericho Roke.
Fantastic.
Smoking Gun, my main fancy, because we know that he's going here and we know Jamie Codd's right. So.
Okay. Great stuff. The Codmeister. Great stuff. Right, I think that draws day 3 to a close for us. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz.
Do you want naps?
Oh, shit. Yes, yeah. So, bet of the day. Matty.
Come back to me.
Okay. So it's not a strong one then. John.
Come back to me. Frontal Assault for me, OJ.
Frontal Assault for John. Excuse me. I said to Kim Muir. Ian.
Dino Blue, Mares Novice.
Dino Blue in the Mares. And you've been pretty consistent again there. Alex.
Okay, Side de Burley in the Pertemps.
Side de Burley in the Pertemps. And Matty.
Bustleton in the Plate.
Bustleton. Again, you've been pretty strong on that one all along. Okay, great stuff. That wraps up day 3 for us, I think, guys. Thank you very much. Keep watching, keep liking, sharing, telling everybody about it, and we'll be back to you soon with day 4.